Hi, Douglas Simonson here. Today I'm going to paint the same painting twice. Keep watching and I'll tell you all about it. I was recently invited to do a live painting demonstration at Culture, the bar, restaurant, and gallery where I have a studio here in Puerto Vallarta. I thought it sounded like a fun challenge. I wanted to get just the right image, so I spent quite a while looking through all the stuff I had, and this is the image I decided on. The big challenge here was I was going to have to do it not only live in front of people, but I needed to complete the whole painting in like 2 hours. I decided to do a rehearsal. I would give myself a couple of days to do the painting in my usual way, and that way I could discover what the problems were. Because every painting has its problems, and you never know what they are until you're actually into it. So by doing a rehearsal painting, I could work out the problems and issues of this particular image ahead of time. And even better, I could work out the colors and values so that when it came time to do the painting, I would already have most of my colors pre-mixed and I would know exactly, I would have kind of a roadmap of how the painting was going to go. And that would give me a much better shot at getting it done in the time allotted and having it turn out well. So the first part of this video will show you the process of creating the first painting in studio. And then the second part of the video will show you clips and photos from the actual live demonstration at Culture. Then at the end, I'm going to show you both paintings and we're going to compare them. After covering the canvas with a wash of burnt sienna, I started painting. And as usual, I started with the darkest darks. And then I moved on to the darkest flesh tones. And this turned out to be one of the trickier parts of this painting because so much of the head and the body are in shadow. So the darker flesh tones kind of dominate. With this kind of painting, there are a lot of separate color areas, separate flat color areas, not a lot of blending. And the color areas, especially in the darker flesh tones here, are really close to each other in value. And that's tricky in acrylics because acrylics dry darker. So you can be painting along and it looks like it's going to be fine, but then it will dry too dark. Or maybe the other color will be too light and you'll have to adjust. So that's why with a painting like this, there's a lot of remixing and repainting certain areas to get the values just right. Because with a painting like this, if the values aren't just right, it's not going to work. The coconut trees are tricky too because they're out of focus in the photo, and the Photoshop tweak I use turns that into several different color areas. Again, they need to be just the right value or it doesn't work. But I didn't want to be too careful. I wanted to keep it loose, so I didn't copy it really exactly. I just did a lot of experimenting until I got it to look the way I wanted it to look. The top right of the head, where the sunlight is coming in, ends up being a different range of colors because the blue of the sky is leaking in, which means the flesh tones become much cooler, more of a blue-gray. And there's also some cooler areas in the face due to the reflected cool light. And those end up being kind of a grayish green, almost a khaki color. But it works. That is, it works if the values are just right. Not too light, not too dark. Anyway, once I got the painting pretty much done, I felt like I had a sense of what was working and what wasn't, and I felt pretty confident that I would be able to do it all again a lot faster. I was going to have to get the whole thing done in a couple of hours, but now I had a kind of roadmap. I knew the colors and the values I needed, and I knew I could mix them up ahead of time so I'd be prepared. Here I am getting set up for the live painting demonstration. This was a lot of setting up and a lot of getting ready, and my assistant Roberto really helped me a lot. He was there when I needed him to bring me a fresh rag, change the water in the water container, and so on. So that really helped me a lot. I had most of my colors mixed, but I still needed to mix some on the spot. And some of my fellow culture artists were watching because every artist has a different process and, you're curious. Painting live in front of people is kind of a nerve-wracking experience, but it's also exciting because it's, I'm very high energy and I know I have to get it done really fast. So I'm really slapping the paint on and not taking a lot of time to make sure everything is just right. And for me, that's a good thing because less precision often means more life and more energy. Once I started putting in the flesh tones, I really appreciated having already done the painting because I knew more or less what colors were going to work and what values were going to work. And I had them all mixed up. I still needed to mix a little here and there, but mostly all my colors were there and ready to go. So I could just paint without having to stop and mix colors all the time. And that's really a pleasure when you don't have to stop and mix colors and you can just go. You can probably see that the painting technique in the face is a lot looser this time around. And also I had a much easier time with the coconut trees just because I was more confident and I'd already done it once. Here I am putting in the final touches. My time is almost up and I know I don't have time to get picky, and that's a good thing because it forces me to just stay loose. Now that both paintings are done, you can look at them side by side and see the differences. The first one is more careful, obviously. The second one is looser. I like both of them, but I like the second one a little more, not only because it's looser and has more energy, but I think the values are just a little better. But overall, I think they both turned out really well. And it was a good experience. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this whole process of me painting the same painting twice and the live demonstration and everything. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do. That gives me inspiration to do more videos like this one. And if you got a little inspired watching me paint today, that's great. Put on your painting pants and go paint.